Good morning. Good morning to everybody at home. So this morning we're going to actually get started laying down. I'm going to kind of focus on the lower back and hip opening, and then we'll kind of take it up, and then we'll work on we're going to do a kind of pigeon practice on our back, and then we'll move towards a traditional pigeon towards the end. So we'll kind of incorporate a lot of hips, lower back. If at any time anything feels uncomfortable, feel free to take a break. It's really completely up to you and how you feel. Okay. So we'll start on our backs. So lying down on your back, we'll just get grounded this morning, taking our time to settle in with breath. So just placing one hand on the belly, one hand right over heart center. And then beginning to just drop in to the physical sensation of your breath. Not trying to control the breath, but just feeling it come in and out. Feeling the gentle rise of the breath come in. Feeling the gentle release of the exhale. And then we'll begin to incorporate a little bit more breath work as you start to build the breath, starting to feel the abdominal area gently lift as you inhale. Feeling the breath rise all the way up into the chest, all the way underneath the collarbones. And as you exhale, allowing the chest to release, allowing the belly to soften. Feeling the breath come all the way from the lower belly into the chest, all the way up to the collarbones. And then all the way back down, allowing each breath to create some movement from within the body. Breathing in, filling up from the deepest lower parts of the abdomen. Allowing the breath to gently rise all the way up. And just taking a few of these, just settling into some grounding breath this morning. Each breath allowing you to come into the present moment. And we'll bring one hand on top of the other, right over heart center. And just setting an intention for your practice this morning. Maybe it's for someone you know who really needs it. Maybe it's for yourself. Maybe it's just for the greater world. Just keeping that intention with you as we move and breathe this morning. And we'll begin together with the sound of Om, taking a deep breath in fully. And on your next breath, bringing your knees into the chest, wrapping your hands around the legs, just giving yourself a nice little squeeze as you bring the knees in, starting to feel the lower back gently round, and then gently release the knees, feeling the lower back lengthen. So kind of just moving back and forth Feeling that little pelvic tilt as you bring the knees in, letting it round up, and then slowly release, feeling the lower back lengthen. And from here, starting to make some big circles with the knees, gently massaging the lower back, letting that circular motion start to open up the lower back, the hips, the glutes. Then change directions, maybe now letting those circles become a little bit bigger. And bringing the knees back into the chest, you're going to let the left leg come long onto the mat. And then just bring your right knee up towards your right shoulder. We're going to come into a supine pigeon this morning. So we're first going to start by opening up that right hip. So I like to keep my left hand on that left side of the pelvis, kind of keeping that side of the pelvis level. But as you hold on to the right side of the knee, start to make some big circles with that right knee. So we're just turning into that right hip socket, starting to open up through that right side of the hip and lower body. And then change directions, allowing that right hip to move and open a little bit more in that circular motion each time it comes around. Again, if there's any pain or strain, just really kind of back out. But sometimes we get into these little stretches and you want to find that edge that feels like where you can be comfortable creating the stretch without creating strain or pain. And then we'll bring the knee in towards the shoulder. So holding onto the right knee with the right hand, we're going to take our left hand to the ankle and then cross that foot towards the left hip. So we're kind of creating a nice diagonal line with the shin over the body. So this is kind of the shape of our pigeon when we're resting on the mat over the leg. But we're just squeezing that leg in, bringing the knee towards the shoulder, foot towards the hip. And then see if you can start to lengthen the left leg out a little bit longer, creating a long line of energy through that left leg. And then holding the stretch here. Come back to take some big, deep breaths in. Each time you exhale, maybe squeezing that leg in just a little bit more firmly. Taking 3 more big, deep breaths here. And as you release that last breath, letting go of the foot and just holding on to the knee, making some circles with that ankle. So we just allow that side body on the right to open. And then we'll allow that right leg to just release all the way back down onto the mat. And then coming into that left side, the left knee comes in, squeezing that left knee in, but send the right foot away. So we're kind of creating this oppositional line of energy as you bring the left knee in, right foot reaching away. And then start to make those big circles with that left knee. So turning into that left hip socket, letting everything start to open here in the hip, in the lower back and the glute. So creating as much space as you feel like you need to. And again, following any sensation in the body. You want to allow that stretch to happen, but avoid any pain or strain. So don't push yourself to a place that feels discomforting. And then change directions, allowing that motion to create some space in the hip. And then we'll come into pigeon on this side in the supine variation. So bringing that left knee in towards the left shoulder and then taking hold of the foot with a hand. So we're crossing in a diagonal angle so that shin bone's kind of diagonal running from the left shoulder towards the right hip. And then again, checking in with the right leg, wanting to make sure you still have some length, reaching that right foot away as you bring the left knee in. Then we come back to the breath, holding this posture, letting each breath help you kind of just drop into that soft space of release. And we'll release the foot. And then just make some small circles with that left foot and ankle, maybe allowing that leg to move around a bit. And then we'll send it out nice and long out onto the mat, both legs extended. So with the arms extended alongside the body, the legs released, we're going to come into a little bit of a supine twist. So we'll bring the knees in together. Bring the arms wrapping around the knees. And we're going to start dropping the knees over to the right and turning your gaze and opening that left arm to the side. So holding on to that, to the side of the legs with the right hand and then reaching away. So starting to feel some openness on the left side of the body as you breathe. So I like to imagine I can create space with each breath. As you breathe in, feeling the ribcage gently expand. As you exhale, allow yourself to release. And we'll come back through center, placing the soles of the feet onto the ground, and then we'll make our way to the opposite side, bringing the knees in, and then letting the legs drop over to the left. So the knees and hips stack, and then letting your gaze open as you allow your right shoulder and gaze to turn towards the right hand. And again, coming back to the big spaciousness of your breath. Each inhale creating a little bit more openness. Each exhale creating release. And then we'll come back through center. This time letting both feet come to the mat, knees are up towards the sky. We're going to come into some movement with bridge. So continuing to open up and strengthen through the lower body. So coming into that moving bridge, feet are planted down towards the ground, about hip distance apart. And we'll begin to press the feet into the mat and then begin to squeeze the abdominal muscles and lifting seat as you squeeze the glutes up and in. So we begin to lift and then exhale, lower the hips down. So very intentionally pushing the feet into the mat, squeezing the glutes, lifting up into your bridge. Exhale, lowering down. So this is a great stretch for the lower back, the hip flexors. So continuing to move with your breath as you press down into the feet and lift up. But intentionally lower down, vertebra by vertebra, taking your time. And then we'll begin to use the arms with this. So as you inhale the next time, coming up, arms extend up towards the ceiling. And then over the head, fingertips reach away. And then exhale, lower down, letting the arms relax alongside the body. Taking this 3 more times at your pace. Inhale, lifting up with your breath. Arms extend over the head. And as you exhale, slowly lower down. And then the last time as you come up, lifting the hips, reaching your fingertips away. Stay for 3 breaths. Keep pressing the hips up towards the sky. And then as you release, slowly release all the way down. Arms extend alongside the body. And then we'll bring the knees in towards the shoulders. Reaching your hands through, taking hold of your big toe with your peace fingers, coming into happy baby. So you start to rock side to side as you hold on to the toes. Again, stretching into the lower back and the hips, allowing some openness to come in the back of the body. If it feels good to you, you can kind of bend and straighten one leg and then the other as you move, taking a little stretch into the backs of the legs and the hamstrings as well. And then we'll come back to center, bringing the knees into the chest. And as you're ready, we're going to cross the ankles over and roll up into a comfortable seat. So we started opening up the back of the body and the hips. From here, we're going to move into some half sun salutation. So your legs coming together, and then extend the arms up towards the sky. Arms lift up. And on your exhale, reach forward, fingertips towards the toes. On your inhale, hands to the shins, finding a nice long spine. On your exhale, slide the hands back down, folding over the legs. Inhale, come all the way up. So just like in our standing sun salutation, it's moving with our breath. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're just moving with this grounding sensation. Inhale up with the arms. Exhale, pulling towards your toes. Inhale, hands to the shins, finding a nice long spine. And then exhale, fold back down. One more time with breath. Inhale, come all the way up. Palms come together. And exhale, hands to the heart. We'll move with our breath intentionally as we take the arms back up on an inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, long spine, bring your hands to the shins. And this time as we exhale to fold, we'll stay here for a few breaths, allowing the breath to move into the backs of the legs, creating some length in the hamstrings. And see if you can begin to move the breath, stretching all the way into the lower back, creating space from the shoulders all the way down towards the hips. On your next breath, slowly roll up the spine. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, letting your knees come out nice and wide. Coming into Baddha Konasana, and just beginning to bring your knees up and in, kind of frame your elbows here. So you kind of squeeze everything in, and then as you fold, press the elbows into the legs and fold over the feet. So moving with your breath and body here, almost like a little accordion, bringing the knees up and in, elbows draw in inside. And then on your exhale, fold and allow the elbows to press the knees down. So moving back and forth with your breath, allowing for some openness and breath to kind of create this lovely dance of the body and the breath moving together. And as you come up the next time, we're going to plant the feet down, bringing the knees together. So So as we move into this next stretch, arms can be around the legs or through, but we're going to plant the heels down, lifting the toes, and then take our hands reaching for the balls of the feet. So we kind of wrap here and then push our feet into the hands, chin towards the chest, and just round your back as much as you can towards the wall behind you. Take some big deep breaths here into the back side of the body. One more big deep breath here. And we'll slowly roll up the spine. Find a nice tall seat. We're going to make our way into cat-cow or Virabhadrasana from our tabletop. So as you make your way into your tabletop, letting your hands come underneath the shoulders, knees under hips. And from here, just kind of finding this neutral space. So you feel strong, the hands pushing down, belly draws in to support the back. And then begin to move with your breath. On your inhale, let the belly soften down, lifting your seat, lifting the gaze. And on your exhale, rounding the back, coming up into this cat-like back. Moving back and forth with your breath. And then we'll begin to add on to this. Curling the toes under, shifting your hips back, so just stretching into the bottoms of the feet. So we're in this kind of little, I wouldn't even say downward puppy, but we're just curling the toes under, reaching back, almost like a little child's pose, but stretch into the feet. And then we'll begin to add on a little more as you bring yourself back up to this tabletop. Curl the toes under, completely lifting the hips, down facing dog. So bending one knee and then the other. Allowing yourself to just walk your dog out, letting the backs of the legs. Even shaking your head out, yes and no, letting your side body, shoulders, your head and neck kind of start to open up here. And then we'll begin to add from here. On your inhale, look forward, come back onto the knees. And exhale to child's pose. So keeping your hands right where they are. On your inhale, coming back up to tabletop, curl the toes under, lift the hips, downward facing dog. So we'll move through this sequence, opening up full body on your breath. Inhale forward onto the knees. Release the hips back for just that brief child's pose. Keep your hands right where they are. With your breath, inhale up to the tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Come back to your tabletop, knees come down. Release to your child's pose, keeping the hands where they are. Inhale up to your tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. One last time through this as you come down onto the knees. This time, let your hips drop back, knees open a little wider, coming into a wide-kneed child's pose. Allowing yourself to completely release, letting the head, the neck, the shoulders, the hips, everything just soften down. Allowing yourself to find that soft place of release with the breath. On your next breath, as you inhale, we'll make our way back up to a tabletop position. Curl the toes under, finding downward facing dog. And then begin to walk your hands back to meet your feet. So we'll all find our way back into this nice standing forward fold at the back of the mat, Uttanasana. So letting your head just relax towards the ground, creating traction for the spine, allowing space to build between the vertebrae. And if the hands don't make it all the way to the floor, keep your knees bent. Allow yourself to kind of create length in the hamstrings as you bend the knees and then lift the seat. On your next breath, we'll begin to drop the seat a little bit lower, really bend into the legs, squeeze in the glutes and the belly, and we're going to slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra. Letting your entire spine roll up nice and slow, head, neck, and shoulders relax at the top. So finding Tadasana, finding strength on your own 2 feet. Just allow yourself to settle into that feeling. Begin to lift your toes, and then press the toes back down, lift the heels, and then press the heels back down. So allow yourself to find this space where we can move from feet. And then we'll take the arms back up, inhale fully. On your exhale, hands to your heart center. We're going to step about halfway up with that left foot. So taking a peek, we're going to come into a little kind of walking pyramid. So left foot's forward, feet are about hip distance apart. So we're not too close together. Put your hands together, heart center. Inhale, get nice and long with the spine, and on your exhale, fold forward. Just allowing yourself to reach and extend, so a nice flat or long spine extension. Breathe here and just allow yourself then to fold over that left leg as much as it feels good to you. So the left hip begins to shift back as the right hip shifts forward, just a bit. But find strength squeezing the inner thigh together, drawing the belly in. And then we're going to bend pretty deeply into that left knee. Bring your hands to the ground. Allow yourself to bring your nose towards your knee. Keep pushing that right heel back down. Stretching into the backs of the legs. And with your next breath, we'll step our right foot up to meet the left. Bend pretty deeply into the seat. And then we'll inhale, come all the way up, arms extend over the head. And exhale, hands to heart center. From here, stepping your right foot forward, coming into pyramid on this side. So our feet are about hip distance apart, almost like, imagine like your feet were on railroad tracks. But the hips distance apart, bring your hands to heart center. Get long with the spine as you inhale, and then exhale, fold, stopping about halfway. So squeezing the thigh, reaching the heart towards the top of the mat. Your right hip shifts back now as the left comes forward. Drawing the belly in to protect and lengthen the spine. And on your exhale, bend the right knee pretty deeply. Bring your hands on either side of that right foot. So we're really bringing our nose towards our knee as we bend pretty deeply here. Keep pressing your left heel back as well. On your next breath here, step the left foot up to meet the right. We're going to come into a little tiny chair for just a moment, so reach your seat back. Arms extend forward into your chair. And then begin to squeeze the legs, squeeze the glutes, rise all the way up. Arms extend up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take that pause with breath. Give yourself that moment. Allowing yourself to slow down. Finding that balancing place between effort and ease. Your next deep breath, inhale the arms up. And then come into half moon. So beginning to take hold of your left, with your left wrist holding your right. And we're going to reach to the opposite side. So come over to your left. There you go. So I would do that if I find as much space on this open side of the right. Little crunch in the left and inhale up. Switch the hands out to the whole of the left versus right, and then open up, bend into your right, feeling openness on the left. So kind of play with where you want your head to be. You want your gaze towards the floor, out in front. Feel good up. Inhale, come up. Now we're going to add the legs here. So take and hold the opposite wrist. We're going to cross your right leg and find the left. So it comes in kind of a little curtsy here as you reach over towards that left side. Really squeeze the legs together. Feeling that starts almost into that right side of the hip. And then inhale, come up. Reverse order the hands. Step your left foot back, so crossing that left knee behind your right. And then over towards the opposite side. Inhale up. And then exhale, hands all the way down to heart center. Finding Tadasana, long arms alongside the body. So feeling that relaxation as you let the shoulders go, let the hands go. And we'll continue moving with breath, inhale, taking your arms up. On your exhale here, folding right through heart center. And then we'll step far back with the right foot, coming into our low lunge here. So setting yourself up, that left knee is bent over the ankle. Keep reaching the heart forward. And then we're going to let that right knee come down. On your breath, squeeze everything up from the middle, inhale, all the way up with the arms. On your exhale, elbows draw down. Feel the heart lift as the shoulder blades squeeze towards each other. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, release the arms down. One more time, big deep breath up. And then exhale, hands frame that left foot. We're going to release the hips back, straighten that front leg, lift your toes. So this forward fold here is really about moving some length into the back of the left leg. So keeping flexion and strength in that leg. Exhale, allowing yourself to fold a little bit more over it. And then walking your hands forward, bend that knee again. On your exhale, reach the seat back, straightening that left leg. And just walk your hands back and forth as you bend and straighten that left leg. Allowing some movement to come into the legs. Lengthening the hamstring as you fold. And then lengthening that right hip flexor as you come up. But all the while, just trying to move from your center, squeezing mid-thigh and the belly draws in to protect the spine. And this time as you come forward, planting that left foot down, your right hand is going to just come in line with that foot and extend the left arm to the sky. Take some big, deep breaths here. Keep reaching that left hand as high as it can go, feeling some openness even through the chest, through the heart center. And then on your exhale, release that hand down, stepping back, downward facing dog. Bending one knee and then the other. Let your dog kind of walk its way through, feeling the side body. Gently open your hips, shift side to side. Head, neck, and shoulders can move a bit. And then we'll start to walk our feet up all the way towards the hands. Coming into that standing forward fold at the top of the mat. So again, letting the head relax down. But keeping a little bend in the knees as you lift your seat, lengthening the hamstrings. And then bend your knees pretty deeply, letting your seat reach back, coming into chair pose. Reaching your arms all the way out in front of you, squeezing everything from the middle. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Strengthening from our foundation. And then we'll begin to lift all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. So we're going to take that pause in between. Feel the breath come in. Feel it gently leave. You feel the energy of the body start to build. Letting the breath keep us in the present moment. And then we'll begin to move again. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands right through heart center. This time stepping your left foot far back, coming into that low lunge on this side. So setting yourself up and then allowing that left knee to drop down. As you're ready, we'll inhale the arms all the way up. So we're starting to let this left hip flexor lengthen as you squeeze everything from midline, keep reaching up through the arms. And then on your exhale, draw the elbows down, squeeze the shoulder blades together to lift the heart. Inhale up. Exhale, draw the arms down. One more time with breath. Inhale up. And exhale down. With your next breath as you come up, we'll begin to frame that right foot and we'll shift the hips back, straightening that right leg, lifting your toes. So allowing some length to move into the back of the right leg, flexion in the foot as the toes are coming up towards you. Keep squeezing midline energy from the lower belly, mid-thigh. And then begin to move with your breath, walking hands forward, plant that right foot down. So we lengthen into the hip flexor here, and then shift back, lengthening into the hamstring on the right. So take this at your own pace, going back and forth with breath. Softly letting energy and strength move through the body. Letting your breath keep you in that rhythm as the body and the breath move together. And then the next time you come forward, planting that right foot down, planting the left hand down beside it, and come into that twist, the right arm now lifting towards the sky. So take some big deep breaths, lifting up, right hand extends toward the sky, keep drawing abdominal muscles in to protect the spine. And then exhale, release that right hand down, step back, downward facing dog. And again, this time walk your dog out. Shift your hips side to side, let your head relax as it moves to the left, to the right. Then we'll release down onto the knees. Open the knees wide, taking a nice wide knee child's pose. Letting everything release back as you reach the arms forward and let yourself just release onto the mat with breath. So as you're here in your child's pose, allowing each breath to create space for you. For those of us in this room, for those of us practicing at home, each breath, we're reminded of how connected we all are. And even though the spaces between us may grow in distance, we're all together. We all pour in from the same source. With each breath, we slow down, we reconnect, we remember. And from here, slowly starting to open up through the side body, walking your hands over to the right. Place your left hand on top of the right. Feeling that side body stretch opening. And we come through center. Walking the hands over to the left, placing your right hand on top. Feeling that opens to the right side of the body. We'll come back to center, making our way into downward facing dog here. So taking this downward facing dog, beginning to lift the hips. And then let your left heel get heavy. We're going to come into a three-legged dog, reaching your right leg towards the sky for just a moment. And then from here, look forward. We're going to come into pigeon. So bringing your right knee inside the right wrist. And that foot kind of reaches to the side of the mat. And your left leg is long behind you here. So this is kind of where we started the morning, but on our back, with the leg kind of crossed over the body. But we're going to take a little back bend first here. So begin to push your fingertips into the mat, like almost like these are the kickstands of the upper body. Begin to lift your gaze. Let your head reach back. So we take a little back bend here first. Take some big, deep breaths. And then on your exhale, start to lower yourself down, letting your head rest on both hands. And as you let your head rest, begin to come back to those deep, beautiful, spacious breaths. So these bigger hip stretches tend to be a great source of release. So beginning to let go of any pressure that builds, any strain. Send the breath into those places where we need release. We begin to make our way out of this pigeon, pressing back into the hands, lifting back up through this back bend. Just begin to allow your heart to lift again. And then on your exhale, we're going to begin to curl the toes under on the left and step back to your downward facing dog. And then let your legs walk their way out, feeling any movement into the right or left leg that you might need. And then begin to let that right heel get heavy. And we'll lift the left leg to the sky into this three-legged dog for just a brief moment, reaching up and out. And then look forward between the hands, and we'll bring that left knee up inside the left wrist. Sliding that right leg back. So kind of taking a peek, making sure that leg is nice and long behind you, not too crooked or bent in any way. Then begin to lift up into this back bend. So we open the chest, lift the gaze, feel the heart lift. And then on your exhale, release all the way down. Letting your forehead rest. Feeling the breath softly ease you in to release. Each breath filling you up. Each exhale allowing you to release. And as you're ready this time, beginning to lift back up. Coming into that back bend, lifting the heart. And then from here this time, we're going to just shift our weight over to the left and bring your right leg around to meet the right. So we'll all meet together in this nice seated posture. But this time, bring your knees up and the soles of the feet out. So we're going to do one last little hip release. So your feet are about the outer edges of your mat. And then your hands behind you, fingertips facing towards you or away, whatever's best for your wrist. And then just taking one knee down towards the opposite ankle. So holding here, and then we'll come back up, going the opposite direction, left knee towards the right. And then just moving back and forth, allowing the hips to release. And the next time we go to the right, we're going to add on. So letting your knees release here. And then taking your right hand to your right hip, pushing that all the way around, and then we'll walk both hands behind you. So we're in this little twist and hip opener here. Take some big, deep breaths. Allow the knees to be heavy, but keep lengthening upward with the spine. And then we'll come back for center. Walk your hands behind you, knees are open wide again. And then we'll let the knees come to the right. And then taking your left hand to the left hip, kind of shifting. And then we're going to come all the way back. So the hands are on the ground behind you, arms are nice and long, so reaching up though. Taking this twist through the back, stretch into the hips, but keep lengthening through the spine. So the twist is happening through the upper back, as we have the hips already stacked. We don't need to stretch into the lower back at all. And then releasing from here, coming back through center. Soles of the feet then come together. And then kind of walk your seat up a little bit closer towards your feet. You're going to take just one more forward fold. Just lengthen up as high as you can go. And then on your exhale, fold forward here. And don't worry too much about keeping the length in the spine. Let this be a little bit more restorative. Chin towards the chest, maybe taking a little rounded feeling into the back. Take your deepest, slowest breaths of the morning here. Creating space all the way from the shoulders down to the lower back. Now as you're here, slowly start to roll up the spine. We'll close the knees together as we roll up. And then we're going to make our way down onto the mat. So make sure you're kind of up towards the top part of your mat. We're going to roll all the way down so your head has a nice place to rest when we get there. So extend the arms out, draw your belly in, and we'll start to roll the spine down. Take your time getting here. Begin to lengthen the legs out. And then release the body all the way down to the mat. So allow yourself to find that space where we can rest. And take one last spinal release here. Bringing your knees into the chest, squeezing the legs in, and making some big circles with the knees, creating that nice spinal massage. So taking it a little bit slower each time around, allowing the lower back to release each small movement. And then begin to change directions. Allow yourself to slow down for each breath. And then as you're ready, allow your legs to find your way nice and long onto the mat. Beginning to allow your body find its space as it relaxes down into the mat. Kind of making any last movements that you need before we find our final relaxation. So as we move into this space of surrender, we remember that our bodies are a vessel. And what's within us is all from the same source. We are all connected. As we allow the body to surrender into this space, we allow the mind to start to drift. And as you're ready, making your way up, rolling over to one side, using your arms as a pillow. And eventually making your way back up to a comfortable seat. And as you find your way into that comfortable seat, bringing your hands together at heart center, Anjali Mudra, symbol of heartfelt gratitude. Taking a moment for all that we do have to be grateful for. And close together the sound of Om, taking a deep breath in fully. And allowing the others to lighten each of you. Namaste. And thank you all for being here this morning, making your way out in the rain, and thank you to everybody at home. Hope you had a nice practice and stay cozy and dry.
I don't know, I took most of the practice in high school. You know, I think they might, like, look for your feelings and surprisingly lost that.
This was in that one.
And they called you